Well, hello, this lovely evening. Oh, this lovely Thursday evening. How is everybody doing? I hope y'all are having a wonderful evening. Wasn't that some amazing music? I mean, it makes me think of the West Wing every time I hear it, and it's shocking that it is free on the YouTube. So they're just giving it away free, so you can use it on your own videos, or if y'all wanted to put it on your iPod. So what's an iPod? You could totally do that. All right, let's see who we have in here tonight. Let me get this so I can see you girls. All right, we have got... All right, let's see who we got. We've got Impeccable, Teresa, Bobby. We've got Lily, honey, but I think you already left. But hello, Lily, if you're watching this later. Christian, let's see, Brant, hello, honey. We've got Carter. We've got BLT. Hello, honey. Let's see, we got Craig and Teresa, Impeccable. I think I've mentioned y'all before. Mondo, honey. Rayhan, hello, honey. How is everybody doing tonight? Hopefully y'all are doing pretty good. I'm doing well. I am enjoying a lovely energy drink. Well, it's an energy powder you put into the water. It's supposedly a green tea one. So give me a little pep in my step. And I've got a White Claw on the floor in an emergency box, just in case. Because y'all, if this dumpster fire starts going crazy, I'm ready to pop and release, honey. I'm ready to pop and release. All right, this is sort of a little pre-show because it doesn't start for another 15 minutes maybe. So I figured we'd go through some things that I had seen today on the Twitter. Rashawn, hello, honey. Meaty, honey, how are you? How are you, honey? Good to see you. Where did my pop-up go? I just had a pop-up change. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. So anyways, let me swap screens right here. Up, there we go. All my girls are on my screen. I'm on my screen with my lovely home. Don't judge me. I know I always say I'm begging for money and I want to be a billionaire. Make Debra a billionaire. They don't look behind me. I'm not living in a $15 million estate. I'm just not with antiques. I'm not. I'm living so poor. I'm barely surviving. Just don't look behind me. Let's see. Sean, honey. Hello, hello. All right. So I wanted y'all to see this. I'm not sure if some of you girls have. I seen this on the Twitter, and at first I said, oh my God, obviously this is fake. But I've done a little, more digging to verify, and apparently it's real. So Mitch McConnell was photographed the other day by the AP Press, Associated Press, and take a look at this. This is McConnell, and he just does, McConnell never looks healthy, to be honest with you girls. I think both sides can agree on that. I don't even think Trump likes McConnell. But take a look at these photos. These photos were coming out. Look at his hand. I was like, oh my God, is it a Horcrux? You remember that scene in Harry Potter when Dumbledore tried to kill the Horcrux or whatever, and then it turned his hand black and blue? It's like, what in the world? And that's not the only photo. There's there's somebody posted. There is another one on here somewhere. Not sure where it is. But it shows his lips are really blue. It's really, really strange. I don't know. So anyway, so I was looking on Snopes just to verify, and yeah, it's the real deal. It's actually true. So a lot of people were saying he might have the virus, and since it's a blood vessel disease, maybe that's what it is. I mean, I wish him no ill will. I want to make sure I say that first and foremost, but I just thought that was so strange. I mean, he's always looked rough, but I was like, oh my God, look at that hand. It's rejecting the host. Glurb says, Debra, I'm trying to eat my pulled pork sandwich. I did not need to say that. Hello, Kim, honey. How are you doing, hun? Donald Trump baby says, Debra, did you know politicians are photos? They all Debra, did you know politicians are photos? They all visited Epstein's Island. Oh, I didn't know that, Donald. Thank you so much. Honey, you got a debate to prep for. Why are you in my chat room, Donald? So anyways, I thought that was pretty crazy. Hello, Craig, honey. So yeah, there's some more photos. I'm scared to go too far down the Twitter rabbit hole because you never know photos you might find. Oh, looks like we've got some action going on here. So they're getting ready. They're getting ready. Okay, this is 720p and it looks this bad. Okay. Kind of weak. Those chairs are still too close together. Why are those chairs so close together? Like, seriously, I don't understand. Oh, and then I also wanted to show you girls this. So I figured I would go on to the... Why didn't it meet? You girls still hear it? This is weird.
Welcome to this evening's debate.
I muted her.
University here in Nashville.
Oh, no.
I am Janet Brown, Executive Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates. Over the next few minutes, you will hear...
I was like, how in the world is she still talking? I apparently had two streams. Like, how is she talking? She looks like Cheryl.
The first is Dr. Robert Fisher, the president of Belmont University. We held a 2008 debate here. Belmont served as a backup site in 2016, and Bob has managed to make this evening happen in spite of a lot of challenges that 2020 has brought to this campus and all the others across the country.
I like her hoop earrings. They look really good.
Bob and his colleagues. The second is Nashville's own Martin Slutsky.
Nashville Slutsky. What? Marty Slutsky? What a name.
Since 2000.
That's kind of rough. I mean, you imagine being in middle school with that name?
We could never do this.
Come on, Mrs. Slutsky. Get to the office.
The third is our third co-chair, Dot Ridings, who is not here with us.
She looks like Steve Jobs.
In Louisville, Kentucky at home, but here in spirit. She is an absolutely...
I mean, I hate to say it, but she does.
Board and
Steve Jobs, you know, before he, you know. I hate to say that, but that's what I'm getting at.
Frank Fahrenkopf and Ken Wallach.
Okay. I wanted to show you girls this. Oh, everybody's got a mask. Those chairs are too close. I don't understand this. The chair, and like, really, we can't separate the chairs. Look at this, girl. So I wanted to Google some photos. I did Joe Biden hot. He was good looking when he was younger, wasn't he? Very good looking, handsome gentleman. Look at that man. Hello, I see Cindy. I said he is a good looking man. And then now with them glasses, he is so good looking when he puts those glasses for an older man. No, I mean, he's older than me. I think he's, 4 years older than me, girls. But he's very handsome. And then I said, well, I want to be fair. I want to be fair. I don't want to just say, Google or Bing Joe Biden hot and not be fair to Trump. So I did the same thing, girls, okay? I hope you're sitting down. I don't know why this popped up so... Like as the second number, I might have been the number one image search when you Bing Donald Trump on. I don't know why this is on there. I guess because it was a hot dog and it was, maybe that's how it got, published, like Trump and son eats hot dog or something, and then, saying, Donald Trump hot. I don't know the algorithm on that. But yeah, and I love Ellen. I think this is in the 90s. A lot of people won't realize Ellen didn't have a show. I think Ellen and Trump were pretty good friends then, and I think they used to. This is before she had her show in the Ellen Show, and that the sitcom Ellen. So it was just Ellen and Trump back in the day, and not many people know that. And then there was this one. Well, it was this one. That one popped up. Oh, trying to hack my browser. Anyway, I don't know. It was kind of funny. Here's another one. And, look at Ellen. She looks so young, doesn't she? Ellen looks so young here. I like Ellen. I've always been a fan of Ellen, you know. She didn't know he was going to run for president. I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah, that's Frank Lutz. He's a big-time pollster. Debbie's photo searching's better than the debate already, isn't it? But anyways, I just thought those were cute. I just thought those were funny. I was trying to find a picture of Biden in them jeans, but I couldn't find him. But oh my God, when he got on that plane the other day, I said, he looks good in some jeans. Gotta give it to my man. Gotta give it to him, honey. But yeah, back in the day, he was obviously very attractive. Bobby, I didn't get photos of Glurb. He never sent me an. I mean, I got the fake photo, you know, where he's, you know, he claims he is in Amsterdam, Russia, and you know he is Russian, but he doesn't sound Russian, does he? All right, let's see what they got going on. He looks good in the suit. I mean, you know, Trump wouldn't look bad if he just let people dress him. It's like he chooses to dress himself, you know, and the tie and stuff. I just don't care for anything. I just don't care for, you know, it's too slack. I mean, you know, nowadays, big or small, you can pretty much dress yourself and make yourself look pretty good with the right help. So there's just no excuse. Oh, Jim Carrey is Biden. Shelby is horrible. I mean, it's horrible. I tried to watch some of those skits. They were not funny to me. You know, it was just, it was not funny to me. I don't know. How did you feel about it, Shelby? Did you like the skit? I don't know. You know, I normally like Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey's really good when he plays his own characters, but when he does impressions of other people, I don't really think it works for some reason. I don't know. That's my opinion. I mean, you know, I'm sure some people probably like it. I didn't really care for it. Oh, that's Sarah. Look at Sarah. Like the first one based on the day. Yeah. Oh, I had a mute.
Don't yell, because you're interfering with what those people are seeing.
Let's listen to the rules,
There
y'all.
also is a rule on masks. It's not only our rule, it's the rule of the city.
You know, the guy that actually, you know, is a full-time employee with SNL, I think he does a good job as Biden. The videos that I've seen.
Mask while you're here, you will be approached and you'll be asked to put it back on. And if you don't put it back on, you'll be asked to leave. And if you won't leave,
Do y'all think Melania is going to show up since she didn't show up at that event the other day because she was sick? Because I mean, it sounds like she's not doing too good.
8 o'clock.
I mean, not that she's like in danger, but you know, she still got a cough.
You turn around and look behind you. Those are the anchor booths of the major networks. And at exactly 8 o'clock, they're all going to go on at the same time. And you're going to hear a lot of voices that you'll recognize from different networks.
Oh, fascinating.
That'll go on, and then they'll settle down as we go, and moderator comes out and also says some words. So
Fascinating. I'm going to make a big screen for you girls.
Ken Wallach.
Good evening. I join Frank, Janet, and fellow board members, including
Is this not HD?
John Griffin, who are with us.
Oh no, it's HD.
In
The
welcoming
quality is so bad. I don't know. Their compression should be a lot better than
by
this.
the Commission on Presidential Debates, and the second hosted by Belmont University. As the newest co-chair of the commission, I'm proud to work along
15 minutes of this. 15 minutes of this. Oh my God. Is someone smoking? It looked like there was some smoke over there.
nonpartisan institution since the commission was established in 1980.
All right, let's look at some more photos of Joe Biden.
Continues to
Diamond Joe Biden, excuse me, Joe Biden anime.
Now, please spare me a moment to explain the
What? Joe Biden anime.
over the past 3 decades. More training.
My God. I didn't know this was a thing. This is creepy.
In order to focus greater attention on the already allocated that have been made.
Oh my God, no, it's got to load. It doesn't want to load, but that one's got to load. Oh my God.
Places for debates, the moderators, based on experience, these are issues that, if left to the
Oh my God. I can't. Oh my God. The memes are too strong. They're just too strong.
in fact, it would sometimes unworkable negotiations
Is that real?
issues
Oh my God. That is so
to the
creepy.
of the
That
committee
is so.
every 4 years
Oh my God. I got to give it to whoever created that. I mean, that's insane.
has worked. And post
That is insane.
American people have considered these debates an important part of our political process. Debates have also created civic education opportunities for the schools and communities that have
Craig says, what day did they actually appoint the new president? January.
that explores issues
Oh Lord, what is it?
democracy to social media. The committee
January 20th. That's it, Annie. I knew it was January something. I just couldn't think.
Watch,
My mind.
which allows
Y'all
participants
know my mind's not too good.
and Puerto Rico to exchange views on issues raised in
Joe Biden
to
or
listen
Uncle Joe Biden.
to each other's opinions.
That was insane though, wasn't it?
Will include more than 1 million
That's
participants.
oh my God, that's a horrible pillow, honey.
Partnership with the National Democratic
Who would buy that?
organize more than 400
It's horrible.
debates in 45 countries. Most importantly,
Okay, let's
in
see.
new and emerging democracies.
What we get with Trump.
This initiative has led to the formation of
I still feel like Trump's not going to show up, honey. I don't know what it is. Hello, Kyle, honey. How are you doing tonight, hon?
countries. I wanted to recognize the Commission's longest standing supporter,
Oh, that's good, Bobby. Bobby says at this point I'll be able to retire in 2109 if I play my cards right. Well, honey, that's a good thing. Congratulations. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Look at this. Oh, my God, these mangas. Oh, this is scary.
distinct honor.
You want to put on a freak show for Halloween.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. I would be terrified if I seen that in my room. That could be in a horror movie. These don't look like Trump, though. I mean, these are just demonic looking, honey.
Celebrate America, but if you're Belmont, it's a night to just express gratitude.
That's creepy. That makes...
Done,
Oh, my God. What if you had a baby
given.
and it came out? Oh, my God. That would be a hard decision. That would be a hard decision. Do you leave the baby in the car the next day and you just claim, listen, I forgot, I overslept. I didn't mean to leave the baby in the car. I didn't mean to leave the baby in the car. I promised.
So thank you so much to the commission.
I had told a joke. I've been doing a lot of the alt space, running, jokes and stuff. I like to do comedy, obviously. But, I like, I'm very PG-13
Their goal was
on YouTube. But if you've ever been to my website and listened to some of my podcast episodes, I can get, okay, rated R, I mean, I guess it makes sense because look at, what's his name with his mukbangs,
for your support. Governor Lee,
Avocado. I mean, he's got an OnlyFans. But anyways, I forgot the joke now.
Chamber of
It was a good joke, too, though. I had some good jokes. Some Michael Jackson jokes, some coat hanger jokes. There were some good jokes.
Students of Belmont University for sharing their campus with you, all of you this week.
But that would be kind of sad if you had a baby and it looked like that. Oh, there's...
To say the least.
That is creepy.
Thank the Ryman High
That is so creepy. No, ma'am.
taking
That's too far.
our students and
I think we've all seen this photo before, haven't we?
the day. I was worried the students.
Oh, no, that's a cute little child. Okay, go ahead, baby Trump.
They have a water park out there and all.
Oh, Steve, did you listen to it? It was a pretty good episode, wasn't it, honey? Hello, Rebel Honey.
Challenge of living safely together, and we simply couldn't have done that without them.
Yeah.
You're
His skin is very, I don't know if it's the makeup, but
well, this is
he's got large pores, but I want to know his secret in keeping his pores so clean, because he's got large pores. You know, when you have large pores, you really can't get rid of them. You can just clean the pore. But his pores are always cleaned out pretty well. I mean, he puts a lot of makeup on, but you can see inside his pores. Even with makeup, you'd be able to tell that, they were dirty.
That it'd be totally disingenuous if
I just wonder what he's using to clean his skin. If he gets a lot of facials, maybe.
bless America. Thank you.
He has the team work on his face. He probably does. He probably gets a lot of facials in the White House. Luke says eat greasy food constantly. Oh, Bobby, I miss facials. I miss facials. He's got good teeth, I'll give him that. Whoever did his caps did a good job. Give him. I just never thought he was an attractive man. I think he looks better now than he's ever looked in his life. When he was younger, he was just so doofy looking and, But I mean, now he doesn't look, as bad. Like, he looks better than he'll ever get. What? Oh, we've got 4 minutes, y'all, and we're starting. All right, enough of this, enough of this. Enough of this. Getting ready. 8 minutes. They got different times than I. Look up his mom. Okay. I think I might have seen her before. Maybe. Let's see what his mom looks like. Y'all are wrong for this. I mean, it's that one photo. She looks good in these other photos. Oh, he doesn't look so bad here. He doesn't look so bad here. His dad. I really feel bad for him in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't feel bad now because of all the horrible things he's done to this country and all the hate he has pushed out there. But it kind of shows you how you're raised can really affect, the child. His father was pure evil, and it's so sad that he had to deal with that. And it made him who he is. It's just so sad. But yeah, look at his father back there with those eyes. So sad. I think she was a good woman. I think, but he was a horrible person, horrible. And then they said he had dementia before he passed, and he would get so angry they had to make a fake office where he thought he was still working,
It is such an honor for me to moderate.
But yeah, she looks a little rough there. All right, let's see. Go back. Oh, I know her.
That you are feeling better. I want to welcome the Biden family, Dr. Jill Biden. Thank you all for being here.
She favors jazz, doesn't she? I mean, that's not I think jazz is gorgeous. I'm not, trying to say anything bad about her.
Guidelines that when the candidates are talking, please hold any applause or
But she does favor jazz.
reactions, except of course when they walk out. Make sure you cheer and loud and applause so that everyone can hear you.
Whoops.
Thank you for having me. This is really the honor of a lifetime. I am going to sit down and just get organized and get settled, and the show will start very soon. Thank you for being here.
Luke says, and Trump didn't have, when he was a child, didn't have TikTok to cry in bed with kid t-shirts in his 40s like his kids. Exactly, honey. Steve says she wasn't good. Read the book. What book, Steve, did you read? I got the Mary Trump book on my Kindle. Hello, Dono Sprinkles, honey. Kathy. And for everybody else that has joined, and if you didn't get a shout or anything, I'm sorry, I must have missed you coming in the room. Oh, we've got 48 people so far. If y'all would remember to make sure that you are liked and subscribed and hit that notification bell right there at the bottom. But more importantly, out of everything, I mean, besides being subscribed, make sure you like the video. I really appreciate it, and it helps with the algorithm so they don't think I'm a bot. Karen from payroll. Oh, honey, I remember you last time. I love your name. That is such a good name, honey. Hello, Michael, honey. I wonder what she's doing. What do you think she's doing? You know, they all have that same office chair. Listen, that chair is expensive, and that mesh seems like it would just get messed up over time. Maybe you girls can vouch to it, but is it a good chair? I see it all the time. And I've seen the new chairs that they have made. You know, have y'all seen the new chairs that they've made for like people that are, you know, like, I don't mean just big. I don't mean like obese. I mean like mega obese. The new chairs, they don't have wings on this side, and it's sort of weird how you see it, and it holds your thighs differently and stuff. But I've gained some weight during this time period, being in this pandemic, and I keep getting ads for the chairs. So I don't know if Google's trying to tell me that I may be mega obese or not. I don't know, but I don't think I need that chair. Oh, now they separated the chairs. Look at the chairs. Is that Jill at the bottom left? Who is that at the bottom left? Seems like this time they're really separating out the families. Before, I remember how they were all like together. Both, you know, they were both together. This time it's separated. Misty. Hello, Misty. Misty says, Trump 2020. Bobby says, maybe. Oh, Lord. I just bought an office chair. I broke the other chair that was here. It broke one day I was doing a podcast. I got a 70s leather chair I'm sitting on now. That's, oh my God, it's such a 70s drawback. I'll put it on my Instagram tonight. Church of Debra, that's my Instagram. I'll post it so you girls can see it, but I really like it. That would be, I wouldn't be shocked if later on down the road, since politics is becoming just an event, you got to be a celebrity. I would not be shocked if they have like wrestling music that they come out to, like, like you just said, Biden should come out to a WAP. Shelby says, I can see it. That's macaroni in the pot. That's and I can see, Biden coming in. And then I could see Trump, doing YMCA. Why? Did y'all see that dance he was doing? I liked his little dance. It was hilarious. Exactly, Tremaine. Video. Trump music. Oh, yes, BLT, honey. But I think like half the YMC people are like Trump supporters. I don't even think they're gay. It's like a misconception that they're all gay. I don't think they're all gay. I think only like 2 are gay. Glorb, honey. Your name keeps coming up because there was a gentleman I spoke to on my podcast the other day that had your name. But not Glurp with a P, but Glurb with a B. And that's why people keep making a reference. It has nothing to do with you, honey. I'm sorry. A spammer called my phone yesterday when I was supposed to get on here at 8 p.m. to go live. And I had been working this call up so I could, do the show with it. And what was so funny is he called like 5 minutes before I was going live on here, so I had to go live on my website, which is churchdebra.com, for the adult podcast show that I do. And I had to take it because, I'd put so much effort into getting conned to get into the Bitcoin scam. I like Macho Man. That's a good one. Macho Man. I want to be a Macho Man. Macho Man.
Good evening from Belmont University.
She's got a pretty face.
Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 20
I'm just not going to believe
debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Commission's health security advisor. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now.
God, give me her teeth.
Former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J.
Her
Trump.
brows are gorgeous. That's a beautiful woman. Oh, he looks kind of sad. Why doesn't he have a mask on? Why are they so close? They weren't this close before. Last time they were farther away.
And I do want
That's
to say a
weird.
very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major...
She just muted the mics, I think.
Of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Kristen had... Mondo, did y'all see Kristen's hand? I think she just muted.
Only when it is there.
Oh, she doesn't have control.
And the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired. After that, both microphones will remain on, but on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask
Bobby.
one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee. And since the last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease.
He's starting off with a lie.
It's a worldwide all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas.
I don't think it's gone.
There was a very big spike in
it just started.
It's now gone. And there are some spikes.
Wonder why they had spikes, though.
They will soon be
All opened up.
We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute.
He seems nervous.
I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital. I had it, and I got better. And I will tell you that I had something.
You're the president.
A therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure.
He's the
I
president.
was in for a short.
Nobody else is going to get this type of care. I can promise you this.
And now they say I'm immune. Whether it's 4 months or a lifetime, nobody's been able to say that.
I don't even care if you're, Jeff Bezos. You're not going to get the same care that this man will get.
A problem that's a worldwide
Boris Johnson didn't even get the same care.
problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks,
Goggles?
and everything else, and in particular ventilators. We're now ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month, distributing them all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
No, it's not.
Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, and there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives. And we're in a circumstance where the president thus far and still has no plan. no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe, and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that. We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you and your
Biden, that forehead,
I assume you're referencing
his filler is leaving.
within weeks. Is that
I had to
a
say it.
guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well. And we have numerous others.
Okay.
We also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you, and because this is new information, you have said a vaccine is coming soon, within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up.
This is very weird. He's so calm.
And this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine. And we expect to have 100 million vials.
But this is what he did last time. Remember, he acted crazy until like the final debate. It was always presidential now.
Say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter. And he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you have no
I don't think we're
plan.
going to have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning.
Glurb.
And banned China.
Glurb says trust Johnson & Johnson. Cervical cancer, hell?
But China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months.
He's not the president. This
ran the H1N1.
how
And it was a total disaster.
does Trump realize that Biden's not in any type of office right now?
Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000.
I'm sorry, but that makes no sense.
But it was a far less lethal disease. Look, his own person who ran that for him, who, as you know,
Was it Sean, honey?
chief of staff, said it was catastrophic, it was horrible, we didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make,
Does anybody ever remember losing their jobs and going into a lockdown when Obama was in office? I don't remember that. I don't remember any of this happening before.
Because he shut down access from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act to make sure we go out and get whatever
Exactly,
is
BLT.
out there to protect people. And again,
They shut Ebola down quick.
he did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about, don't worry, it's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
He's over it.
Over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this.
I mean, Luke,
living in a basement.
we need
Can't do that.
public,
By the way,
free
I
public
would
health
love
care.
to
I mean, that
I'd love to
takes
put
so
my
much pressure off everybody.
home in the White House and go away for a year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that. And Kirsten, every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military families.
Here we go. He's about to jump train. He can't do it
Horrible to have canceled everything
because he's taking everything too personal.
And you catch it. And I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals. And now
For you.
99.9 of young people recover.
What?
99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have
Well, I guess that is true if people that recover, because if you die, you don't recover, so you're not counted in recovery.
As if people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy, though.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please, and
30
then I have a
seconds.
question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it.
Thank you.
Folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over to try to touch their, out of habit, where their wife or husband was, is gone. Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it.
Oh, Biden's on his game. Biden's taking notes. Trump's not taking any notes.
Still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they do about the danger? And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that it came here. It's China's fault.
But it's how you handled it, honey.
Came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out.
But you're the
And
president.
ourselves.
He cannot take any blame.
Is that when we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry. It's
Don't
going to go
worry.
away.
Yep.
Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said that, but a lot of people thought it was serious. A whole range of things the president has said. Even today, he thinks we are...
I don't see how someone can look at this man
1,000 more people.
and choose the one to the left over him. It
Just to finish this.
no.
I was kidding on that, but just to finish this.
But you're the president. You're not Debra.
Closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even, and because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You
I didn't
certainly
say
did.
Mute.
I talked about a xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handling
He thought
this.
I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different
Smart, because Trump will want to go on all night.
President, you suggested you would support.
They didn't mute, did they, Tremaine? They didn't mute.
What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact
Trump's
of the
flinging
the higher rates of
boogers with that finger.
domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to.
Oh, they're going after Trump's character. Everything he's saying. He's saying it so Trump will take it personally to his ego to make him blow up.
Those other concerns are.
Trump's got to stay calm during this debate because if he doesn't, it's going to hurt him.
Of course, he should have been negotiating
Poll-wise.
with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about.
Oh, look at Trump. He's
They
seething.
were passing for billions of
These
dollars
words
to make sure people
were practiced, obviously.
You haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Well, no, I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look, you need standards. The standard is if you have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level, everybody says, slow up, more social distancing, do not open bars, and do not open gym.
But if everybody wore masks, we wouldn't be having this issue. It would be a lot easier to keep it under control.
Give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to open. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support that money, or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President Trump,
I think we have to respond, if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight.
Exactly, Luke. Properly wearing a
And he
mask.
supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their
I love her eyeshadow matches her outfit. It's
The
gorgeous.
transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but I want to open the schools. We have to open.
Yeah, I would love to be in a classroom full of 30 kids right now in a small room. Oh, I'm sure that's just not nerve-wracking to the teacher.
Economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to,
Exactly, Sean.
you know, I've said it.
The children might make a quick recovery, but what happens when they pass it on to grandma and gramps?
That's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if
The lies that this guy says. I mean, the lies.
bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your
Simply
response.
not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Exactly.
We ought to be able to safely open, but when they need resources to open. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with
Lisa.
what we're going to make sure that we...
Lisa says, oh, I hope they let her fly loose just for Trump.
Not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. Come on.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I will say this. If you go and look at what's happened to New York, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look
Vice
at what
President
New
Biden.
York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying. I
Exactly.
don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all Americans. They're all Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need that has money's already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
President, New York has lost more than 40,000 people, 11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
when you
about-
say spike, take a look at what's happening.
Sad but true, Nicole.
with it.
Sad but true.
Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one.
Hello, Arlene, honey.
It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional. Take a look at North Carolina. They're having spikes, and they've been closed, and they're getting killed financially. We can't let that happen, Joe. You can't let that happen. We have to open up And we understand the disease. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems.
He's acting like he's been doing this the whole time. He hasn't.
In the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up with you before we move on to our next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots. If you're not listening to them, who are you listening to as you fight this?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony. But he did say, don't wear masks. He did say, as you know, this is not going to be a problem. I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. He said this is...
Oh, my God. This is insane.
We're not going to have a problem at all.
Oh, Lord.
I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said, if you look back, exact words, here's his exact words. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So he's allowed to make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
My response is that think about what the president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told this was a serious virus that spread in the air, and it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't want to tell us. He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us, Americans don't panic. He panicked. But guess what? In the meantime, we find out in the New York Times the other day that, in fact, his folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really dangerous thing. And a memo out of that meeting, not from his administration, but from some of the brokers, said sell short because we got to get moving. It's a dangerous problem.
Well, this is
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then we're going to
Wall Street
move on.
one, I don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it.
Oh, the lies. The lies.
And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe. I could raise so much more money. As president and as somebody that knows most of those people, I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in America.
Oh, honey, you'll sell your daughter for Wall Street,
And
honey.
then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that, like you wouldn't believe. We
The
We
lies.
had plenty of money. In fact,
The lies.
Hillary Clinton.
He'd sell Tiffany on a damn eBay page, honey.
Average contribution, $43.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is national security. And I do want to start with the security of our elections. and
Mondo
the
says he has sold her.
Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence this election. Both countries have obtained U.S. voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do?
Z83, honey, that was good. He would sell Tiffany for an expired French fry coupon from McDonald's.
And I ask everyone else to take the pledge. I made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price. And it's been overwhelmingly clear this election, I won't even get into the last one, this election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved.
I'm going to the restroom. If it gets off and goes to a train wreck, somebody shut it down. I'll be right back, okay, girls?
With American
Be right
sovereignty.
back.
And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Putin about it. I don't think he's talking to them a lot. I don't think he said a word. I don't know why he hadn't said a word to Putin about it. And I don't know what he has recently said, if anything, to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything that's going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, when he's engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question, why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you. Let me ask the question. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term to put an end to this? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
Well, let me respond to the first part, as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with
I'm back.
the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife. And you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million, and you know, someday you're going to have to explain, why did you get 3.5? I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now,
Are you down?
last night, I knew all about that.
Anything good happen?
John Ratcliffe, who was fantastic, DNI, he said, the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose because there has been nobody tougher to
Oh, the lies.
the sanctions. Nobody
The lies. His nose is growing. Somebody help him.
What I've done with NATO, you know, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420
His
billion
lies.
a year. That's to guard against.
I'm scared somebody get poked in the eye by that nose.
Pillows and sheets. I sold tank busters.
Lies. Lies, Manelli. Lies.
On Russia than Donald Trump. I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port.
Oh, he's got money from Russia. They bought one of his mansions for way more than what it was the market price, honey.
They took over a big part of what should
Trump got a lot of money from Russia.
to him. But you were getting a lot of money.
Look up the real estate deals with Trump and Russia, honey.
Probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails.
Hello, Jeff,
the
honey.
horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family.
Where are these emails? Before it was Hillary, now it's emails with him that nobody has the emails. It's just lies.
Explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Are they muted?
Biden, you may respond.
Okay,
30
straight
seconds.
here.
And then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned that this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever, number one. Number two, this is a president, I have released all of my tax returns, 22 years. Go look at them. 22 years of my tax return. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling? The foreign countries are paying you a lot. Russia's paying you a lot. China's
Yes,
paying you a
sir.
lot. And your hotels and all your businesses all around the country, all around the world. And China's building a new road to a new a golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here? Why don't release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants.
Oh, here we
I
go.
released them as soon as we can. I wanted to. How great this.
Oh, my God.
Much more importantly,
The lies.
people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago. I said, "What did I pay?" They said, "Sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars." I prepaid my tax. Tens over the last.
The lies.
Tens
I
of millions
just
of dollars I prepaid. Because
Again, the Mussolini face.
it's an estimate.
Oh, my
and
God.
they have to pay tax. So they already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
That's true, Kathy. Kathy pays more
And
taxes.
it wasn't written.
He doesn't know anything about his own taxes. This guy's so,
$150.
it's in another world.
But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Number one,
Tremaine, we've heard it nonstop. I'll release
I don't
them.
make money from Ukraine. You do. I make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know, maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son said,
This is such phony. This is so
what's
insane.
that all about? It's terrible.
It's made
I'm
up.
going to ask you both some questions about all of this, but I'm going to let you both respond very quickly. You just said you spoke to your accountant
Yes.
about potentially releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them? Do you
As
have
soon
a
as the audit is
deadline for
finished.
when you're going to release them
I
to the
get
American
treated
people?
worse than the Tea Party got treated because
you
I have a
don't
lot
have
of
a time.
people in there.
Oh my God, the lies.
They treat me horribly. We made a deal. It was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS.
Exactly, Arlene. Mark Arlene's words. He will never show his tax records. Never.
I paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance to
Some point
talk
about
about
this
this more broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years
Everybody
you're going to
knows
release your taxes. Nobody knows it, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying your taxes so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on, folks.
Very quickly, President Trump, and then I want to get to two questions to both of you on this.
I was put through a phony witch hunt for 3 years. It started before I even got elected.
I just can't.
My campaign.
Oh my
No
God.
president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just say this. Mueller and 18 angry Democrats and FBI agents all over the place spent $48 million. They went through everything.
Oh my God.
Including my tax return, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. 48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent 1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because
All right.
the kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken, I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother.
Now his brother?
And it's all through you, Joe.
Oh,
And
my
you say
God.
you get some of it. And you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden.
And now he just made up a random thing about Joe's brothers. I mean, this is insane.
Vice President, in retrospect, was anything about those relationships?
He's just throwing everything at the wall. What else can you do but just lie?
With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of a Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S.
The Republicans.
Not one
The
single
Republicans.
thing was out of line. Not a single thing.
If something was out of line, they would have blew it up, honey.
The guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had, the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one.
And his daughter with those patents.
President Trump,
Deal with
let me
that.
let me
By the
ask
way-
my question to you.
But
and
could
then
I just
you'll-
one thing?
Very quickly.
His son,
The licensing rights for Ivanka, she got hers.
in the military service. I won't get into that.
Oh,
Didn't have a job. As
he's
soon
trying
as
to
he
get
became
Biden. He's trying to get Biden worked up
charisma,
now,
not the
honey,
best-
bringing up the
not
family.
the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. 183.
It's going off the rails. Moderate, honey. We've talked about this. We're moving on.
Respond to that quickly. And then
We've got to move on. We've got.
Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay, President Trump, this is for
And that horrible Trump vodka. Ugh, I could spit on it. It was so bad. Oh my God.
This week,
Trump vodka. You could clean the toilet with it. It was so bad.
So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a business.
How many people in this chat have a bank account in China or another country?
Which is, everybody knows about.
Get saved.
The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was opened it was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president and he does business, I then decided to run for president.
The lies.
Before. So
The lies. The lies.
ran for president.
Push his button. Push his button.
Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother
He's trying to mess up Joe's mind. He's trying to get him unbalanced because, you know, family's very personal to
I want to
him.
ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China more broadly. There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus.
Arlene.
President, would you make China pay? And please be specific.
Nando, honey, that's a good one, honey.
Play by the international rules, not like he has done. He has caused...
Good idea, everybody. We're going to look at Trump and we're going to wheel into existence that he poops his panty.
We are making sure that in order to do business in China...
Like that girl from Stranger Things. Poop your panty. Poop your panty, Trump. Poop your panty. Poop your panty.
Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well. When I met with Xi, when I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't fly through them. I said we're going to fly through them. We just flew B-52, B-1 bombers through it. We're not going to pay attention. They have to play by the rules. And what's he do? He embraces guys like the thugs like in North Korea and the Chinese president and Putin and others, and he pokes his finger in the eye of all of our friends, all of our allies. We make up we're 20.
Trump looks like that Pepe the Frog meme, doesn't he, in the face? Just like
We need
him.
to be having the rest of our friends with us saying to China,
Shelby, he's going to do it.
play by them or you're going to pay the price for not paying.
You're going to poop your
That's
panties.
the way I will run it.
You're
That's
gonna
what we
poop
did
your
over
panties.
Steel tariffs and a range of other things when we were president and vice president.
All right, let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, no, I have to
Yes.
respond to that.
Okay, very quickly, and then we're
Poop your panties.
$1.5 from China to
Not
manage after
true.
spending $10
Why does she keep letting him go back to this? Move on. Mute his mic.
email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year.
Mute his mic. Up. They muted it. They muted it. They muted it. Oh, no. Debbie muted it. Debbie muted it. Oh, Debbie muted it. Blah, blah, blah. Wah, 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 wah.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. Didn't come from
You
China.
know who the taxpayer is? It's called China. China paid
true.
$28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency, and they also paid up. And you know who got the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything.
Oh, my
also,
God.
I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay.
And now we have a steel
She needs to take the reins. You're the last moderator. Move on.
The reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey, there's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family. And your family's hurting badly. If you're making if you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or
Ain't he preaching?
who's going to tell
Preach it, honey.
back to community college? They're the decisions you're
Preach it, honey.
Middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont. They're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want
That is a
to talk
typical
about
statement.
North Korea.
Excuse me, just
No.
Turn to
please.
10
Mute
seconds.
him. Why is no? I don't understand why they even set up the freaking mute if nobody's going to do it.
Family around.
Obviously, they're not doing it.
Typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk
I'm
about
not a
North
typical
Korea.
Mute him. Mute him.
Let's talk
Mute him. Mute him. Why say you're going to mute if you're not going to do it?
We're going to talk about North Korea.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
3 times.
How hard can it be to just, why make the rules? Why make them? Because they're not going to enforce them. So why even do it?
North Korea recently rolled out
Lord.
ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to its nuclear arsenal.
It's ridiculous. It's totally
Of the relationship
ridiculous. Nobody can do anything with him. He just gets away with everything. Whatever the man
We
wants.
sat in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war, and he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people sold...
He just lies. Oh, well, you know, we were going to be in a nuke war, but I saved us. I mean, I've never in my life met somebody that just lies as much as him.
That's 30
And I have a
seconds.
good
Thank you.
relationship.
Mute him.
President
Mute
Biden,
him.
North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent threat?
Because I'd make it clear, which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's I made it clear, and as a spokesperson of the administration when I went to China.
Tremaine.
Why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you?
Oh, my Lord, honey.
Why are you continuing to do military maneuvers with South Korea? I said,
Exactly, BLT, honey.
North Korea is a problem, and we're going to.
If everybody had a nuke, honey, and we were in nuclear war, it's over for everybody. Because the whole planet's it's over, honey. It's over.
It's going to continue. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy, who's a thug.
Wrote him a love letter. Bring up the love letter, honey. Bring up the love letter.
Able to reach U.S. territory much more easily than ever did before.
Exactly, Lena, honey.
President Biden,
He just killed his brother. No biggie.
without preconditions. Are there any conditions under which you would meet with him?
On the condition that he would agree that he would be drawing down his
Treat his people better.
to get that.
What he's doing to his own people is disgusting.
All right, let's move on to American
Kristen,
families.
they tried
Very
to
quickly,
meet with
10
him.
seconds,
They
President.
tried
Here we
to
go.
meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, I
know
gotta
for a
give him a
fact they
chance to
tried.
respond to that
He
before we
wouldn't
move
do
on.
it.
That's true, Nando. Just share.
Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people don't understand. Having a good relationship
we
with
have to
leaders
move
of other
on.
Mute him. Mute him. Mute him.
And we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe, the rest of Europe. Come on. The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said, we're going to talk about denuclearization. We're not going to legitimize you, and we're going to continue to put stronger and stronger sanctions on you. That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
All right,
And
let's
it didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's
Excuse
move on
me.
and talk
He
about
left-
American.
No, mute him. Mute him.
They
need to move
left
on.
me a
Mute him. Mute him.
We need
This-
to move on so that
remember
we
the
can
first
get to all-
Again, it's off the railroads because these people that are doing this refuse to follow their own rules.
It was a very they left us a mess, and Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country.
Okay, let's move on to American families and the economy. One of the issues that's most important to them.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely
Today, There
ridiculous.
was a key vote on a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and healthcare is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million Americans get their health.
Oh, my blood pressure.
Affordable Care Act.
Oh,
It's
my
headed to the
God.
Supreme
Give me,
Court.
you know what? The White Claw's coming out.
The president is advocating
Hold on, girls. I got to get my drink.
If the Supreme Court does overturn that law, those 20 million Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do?
I knew this was going to happen.
Their health insurance taken away. You have 2 minutes
Sure.
uninterrupted.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was
Take me to Jesus, White Claw.
legislature. I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we
Oh,
call it.
and these things,
Individual
oh,
mandate
they're so
where you have to pay a
strong.
fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision: run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can.
My people, great people.
Made
What?
everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem: no matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is
Oh, Arlene, that's what I need, honey.
mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win,
Nando, it's my chiffon sitting chair, honey. Thank you.
but it no longer is Obamacare because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful.
Oh, isn't it right?
Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time. And I think we're going to win the House. Okay, you'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important: we have 180 million people out there that have great private health care. Far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care.
Mitty, honey.
People that have been successful.
Mouse made me spit my drink out, my White Claw. We'll see his plan for health care when we see his taxes. So true.
Under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine, he won't even have a choice.
Oh, I'm for that. If it really was that, but you know it won't be. But oh, I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm for it. Put me down. Put me down.
Okay, Vice President Biden, yes, this is for you. Your health care plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes.
Rebel girl.
Pass Obamacare.
Rebel girl. I had to eat an Ativan like Skittles to watch this.
An option that
I love you, honey. That's so funny.
do not have the wherewithal. If you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal, then your state to get.
I just want to take care of people. I just think everybody should be taken care of, y'all. I really do.
That's what's
No matter who you are.
We're going to make
Free
sure
health care for everybody.
premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now, by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to eliminate private insurance, the reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I didn't. Not one single
Debbie, was that a yawn or a stroke? Why can't it be both?
Nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to
change it. That's true.
We're going to make sure we're in a situation that we.
I never lost my doctor when Obamacare went into effect.
Conditions. None. Zero. You can't do it in the ether.
Lost my doctor when I lost my job. That's even more of a reason to have a public option, to have socialized medicine. So then when you lose your job, you don't lose your doctor and you die because you can't afford your medicine or go to the doctor.
20. The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious. The fact is that he's already cost the American people, because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and the economic spillover, 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions.
Me too, BLT, honey.
They're going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President Biden. It relates to something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized.
Actually, his pupils look open to me, honey, like he's on something, because Biden, in this lady's eyes, their pupils are closed because there's so much light on them. But look at Trump's eyes. Their pupils are wide, like mine. Am I high?
It's just like saying that, we're... the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose.
Thank you so much, Jamie, honey.
Plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think health care is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable health care. And
no, not affordable, free.
It's gotten endorsed
free.
By all the major labor unions, as well as a whole range of other people who, in fact, are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity.
Tyler, honey.
Home or worried and rolling around around in bed tonight wondering what in God's name you're going to do if you get sick. Because you.
Amen. If you can see my hands, they're high, y'all. My hands are in the sky right now if I get COVID. I don't have insurance anymore. My hands are in the sky.
President Trump,
Excuse me, he was
your
there
response.
for 47 years. He didn't do
He
it.
was where?
He was now there as
Where
vice
was he?
president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He
What?
wants socialized
They passed
medicine.
Obamacare.
His vice president. I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like he went with fracking.
Oh, my
We're going
God.
to stop fracking. We're gonna stop
Fracking.
And he goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania, and he says, "Oh, we're going to have fracking." And you never asked that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this, I have to say.
By the way.
But somebody should ask the question.
You can ask
He
the-
goes for a year. There will be
We
no
have
fracking. there
we
will
do
be
have
no
a number of
petroleum.
topics we're
No,
going to
but
get
that's a
to.
big- that's a big question.
We're going to get to.
See, Trump tries to butter up the mod so he gets more minutes.
Your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal.
Oh, thank you so much. First super chat of the night from Steve, honey. Thank you so much, honey. Mwah.
It's gonna
Thank you,
cost
honey.
$150 billion over 10 years to do it.
Girl, you better
Lower
frack.
premiums, you can buy into the better plans, the cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected billing, and have your drug prices drop significantly. He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done
Done it.
anything
Not a
anything
thing.
on healthcare.
He ain't done a thing.
I want to talk
When
about
he
what's
says
happening
public
on Capitol
option,
Hill.
he's talking.
Why are they letting him go back?
And when
It'll never end because then Biden wants to go back and then they want to go back.
talking about destroying your Medicare,
Get the frack out of here. Exactly, Mondo.
Social Security, and this whole country.
Who wants to destroy Social Security?
His state. He tried it in his state. His governor was a very liberal governor. They wanted to make it work.
Okay,
It
let's
was
let Vice President
impossible
Biden
to work.
respond.
It doesn't
Vice
work.
President
He's
Biden,
a very
your response.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden he's running against. And the idea that we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare, this is the guy that the actuary at Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to...
Thank you, JF. Thank you so much for the super chat, honey. Oh, I like that
Security will be
dancing.
bankrupt in...
Pear? Is it a dancing pear? That's so cute, honey.
With no way...
Look at that pear.
This is the guy who's trying
Get it, honey. Break it down, break it down.
No, I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is lecturing
Mwah.
on Social Security
Jeffy.
and Medicare? Come on.
He tried to get
10
rid of.
seconds,
He
Mr.
tried to
President,
hurt
and then I
Social
have to go to
Security
another
years
question.
ago. Years ago. Go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All
One
right,
thing,
let's move
but
on.
This
I'm
is
gonna
the
move
guy
on.
that-
This is never, it's going to keep going.
Move on to the next question.
Move on.
Stock
We're not
market
going to have
will
time
boom.
to talk about it.
Move on. Move on. You're the mod. Why are you asking the president? Why is she explaining to the president that they need to move on? You're the mod. Oh my God. I don't understand how some people can be so,
Scranton and Claymont, the people don't live off...
they get so far in their life, in their career, and you're telling me you cannot tell the president, look, I'm moving on, I'm going to meet you. Pick one.
The billionaires in this country made, according to the Wall Street, $700 billion more dollars. $700 billion more dollars. Because that's his only measure. What happens to the ordinary people out there? What happens to them?
Let's talk about what's happening on
401ks.
Capitol Hill.
Mute his mic.
401ks.
Mute his mic. Mute his mic.
And he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like he lived there for a short period of
gonna-
time before he
okay,
even knew
we're
it.
gonna move on to
and
the
he
next
left.
question.
And the people of Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to my
that.
next question,
They
gentlemen.
understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million
This is so sad. This is so sad.
million more Americans
So
have
sad.
fallen into poverty,
So
and
sad.
more families are going hungry.
Thank you, Tremaine, Joe Biden, Camilla Harris, 2020, honey.
Washington fighting
Steve, thank you, honey, again.
Mr.
Mwah.
President, why haven't you been
Thank
able
you
to
both,
get
y'all. You're so
30
sweet.
seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to
whatever.
approve anything because she'd love to have some victory
Oh, my God.
on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including...
What is he
Democrats. In
talking
fairness,
about?
This one she doesn't want. It's
They,
near the election.
the House has had a bill.
I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President,
You know, the Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
Exactly.
with you, Vice President.
we made a
Biden,
deal, the
because
Republicans
let me
will
ask
pass
Vice President Biden a question.
Bathroom break. I'll be right back, girls. If anything happens crazy,
The Democrats to
check it. Check them, girls.
Oh, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets and states that have to balance their budgets, so then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they could keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have not done a thing for them. And Mitch McConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt. Come on. What's the matter with
bill
these
that was
guys?
passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high-crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these states. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally. We were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love to help them, but what that does, everybody all over the world will start pouring into our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking care of them. This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right,
By
I
the way,
want
if
to.
I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And
Oh, my Lord.
every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or
Amen.
cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They allowed the federal
you,
government
Arlene.
to spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses.
Yes.
Bump it up, honey. It needs to bump it
I
up.
think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum
yes.
wage for support of $15.
Yeah, 15's not even livable. Barely scraping by.
Bail them out too.
That's right.
Should be bailing
Bail
them
out the small businesses.
small businesses.
Exactly.
1 in 6 of them going under. They're not going to be able to.
When we're talking about, Applebee's and Sears, honey, we're talking about small, real businesses.
PPP. Money is supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their business.
Not going to Amazon, I can tell you that much.
Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as
Shelby, honey.
need the help. But this
Sad but true, honey.
will not help them. Is not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to
Excuse me,
immigration,
one thing very
but I
quickly.
want
He
to get
said we
your
have to help our
reaction.
small businesses by raising the minimum wage. That's not helping.
But-
I think it should be a state option. Alabama
What?
is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont.
This man's so out of touch.
It should be a state
You-
option.
you said very
we have
recently-
to help. It's very important. We have to help our small businesses.
You
How
said-
are you helping your small
Why is she allowing this?
What's going to happen? And
Why is she letting him speak over her? You're the mod. She's got to take charge. Luke T, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Wage to $15
Say
an
it.
hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to
what I
$15 an hour.
really
Is that
like-
still the
Thank you so much, Luke, honey. Mwah.
to an extent, but
In a
what I
second
really like,
administration?
in a second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state.
$15.
In
If
different places, I
you're
think
going to help the small businesses so they can afford it, honey.
$15 is not so bad. In other places,
The mute was a lie. Let me tweet this. The mute was a lie.
Response, Vice President Biden.
2 jobs, 1 job.
I'm sorry for the keyboard sound,
People making
y'all.
6, 7, 8 bucks.
Do y'all know a good keyboard that's a good tactile keyboard that's not loud? Let me know, because I'd appreciate
allowed us
it.
to make it. what's happening.
No,
They deserve a minimum wage of $15. Anything below that puts you below the poverty level. And there is no evidence that when you raise the minimum wage, businesses go out of business. That is simply not true.
We're going to talk about immigration. We're going to talk about immigration now, gentlemen, and we're going to talk about families within this context. Mr. President, your administration separated children from their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero-tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get...
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. I may be out of touch with my terms,
We're over 4...
but I'm picturing like literally a coyote.
We let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in...
But how will you reunite these kids with their families, Mr. President?
What?
You know, they used to say, I built the cages. And
Oh, it's a racist dog whistle, Mr. Cathy.
And it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014.
Ain't that the truth,
Do
Mondo?
you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on
families?
it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation.
Oh, it's a term for traffickers, Dang says. I had no idea, like literally, I'm sorry. But I had no idea. He said some crazy stuff. Y'all can't fault me at it.
Bay, real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Oh, okay, honey. Hello, Dylan,
They
honey.
did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
they
to that?
They did it. We changed.
did not
They built the
separate
cages.
they-
Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about. What
Why isn't he getting
parents
muted?
were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they
Yes, impeccable. Thank you, honey. Please like the video, everyone.
parents, and those
Thank you,
kids are
impeccable, honey.
alone. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. It's criminal. It's criminal.
Let me ask
Kristen,
you
I will
about
say this.
immigration.
They went
10
down.
seconds,
We
and
brought
then I need to ask
reporters,
you.
everything.
Bill Maher has a good tweet.
Taken care of.
Bill Maher says, I'll say this, at least it resembles a semi-normal debate at this point. People can see the basic fault lines between Dems and Republicans. That's good for Biden. I agree.
Let me ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice President. The Obama
It
administration...
hasn't really went off the train wrecks yet. It's teetering because she won't mute, but it's somewhat normal.
presided over record deportations as well as family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy, and they want to do that, is they've gone to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River, and it's illegal. And you say, oh, no, Mom, leave me here. I'm not going to go with you. They've been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this crisis. We owe them. We owe them.
Kristen, he had 8 years to do what he said he was going to do. And I've changed without having a specific. We got rid of catch and release. We got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice president. He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Vice President
Wrong.
Biden, your response.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across and they were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They were released. And guess what? They showed up for a hearing. And this is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America. That's never happened before in America. You come to the United States and you make your case that I seek asylum based on the following on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law. They're sitting in squalor on the other side of the river.
President Trump, your response,
so
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll move
It
on.
just shows that he has no understanding of immigration.
Oh, honey.
Release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in,
Oh,
a very bad
whatever.
person would come in.
Honey.
Take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they
Catch release didn't work with Trump, though. I can tell you that.
come back. We have to send the police out and Border Patrol out to find
Shelby says you can't even spell immigration, Trump.
3 years, we're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case.
Coyote Ugly.
They come back.
That was
They
a good
don't come
movie.
back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
But they're
President
very-
Trump.
What was he about to say? And then he forgot. The really.
President Biden, your response.
What he's telling you is simply not true.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
Check it out.
All right, let's move on
But we don't have to
the
worry
next
about it because they
section.
terminated it, so we don't have to worry about
Let's
it
move
anymore.
on to the next
And you have
section.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be and lost their parents.
Go ahead.
All right, let's talk about
Oh,
the next
Trump didn't
section.
want to keep talking about that topic, did he?
And I want to talk about the way Black and brown Americans
Oh,
experience.
Trump can't even say nothing on this one.
Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance that they could be targeted, including by the police, for no reason other than the color of their skin. Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. She has a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania in social work. And you know, one of the reasons why I ended up working on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware, which is 90% African American, was to learn more about what was going on. What I never had to tell my daughter, if she's pulled over, make sure she puts, for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how wealthy or how poor they are, has to teach their child when you're walking down the street, don't have a hoodie on when you go across the street. Making sure that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, just yes, sir, no, sir, hands on top of the wheel, because you are, in fact, the victim, whether you're a person making child of a $300,000 a year person.
Look at the gentleman that works for Versace. Wasn't he like the president of Versace or the vice president?
Is institutional racism.
And the policeman stopped him. It's insane.
We've never lived up to it. That we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. But guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it. But we've always constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion, not exclusion. This is the first president to come along and says, that's the end of that. We're not going to do that.
Amen.
We have to provide for economic opportunity, better education, better health care, better access to schooling, better access to opportunity to borrow money to start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating the ability to have wealth as well as it is to be free from violence.
President Trump, same question to you, and let me remind you of the question. I would like you to speak directly.
Oh, good,
to
she
these
reminded
families
him of the
to
question.
understand why these parents.
It's like a goldfish, honey.
Yes, I do. And again, he's been in government 47 years. He
Here we go attacking.
in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community, and they were called, and he called them super predators. And he said that. He said it.
I love how they mute Biden's mic.
And they kept
That disproved it, but they don't mute Trump's.
1994,
That makes no sense.
the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has
It's so
done
sad.
what I've done.
It
Criminal
is so
justice
sad.
reform, Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm
everybody
sure you
knows
did
it,
it, Trump.
including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary, the Black and Hispanic communities, and then historically Black colleges and universities. After 3 years of coming to the office, I love
This wasn't the question.
They came in.
This wasn't the question.
And they said, I said, what are you doing? After 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming back? Because we have no funding. I said, you don't have to come back every year. We have to come back because President Obama would never give them long-term funding, and I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money.
I love how they mute Biden, though, but Trump's never been muted one time this whole debate.
The part about this is I may never see you again because I got very friendly with them, and they like me and I like them. But I saved historically Black colleges and universities.
Okay, and we're going to talk about...
Oh, they muted him for a second.
Your
Wonderful.
response to that, Vice President.
My response to that is I never, ever said,
Wonderful, honey.
accuse me of saying. The fact of the matter is, in 2000, though, after the crime bill had been in the law for a while, this is a guy who said, the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail. There's not enough people in jail. And go on my website, get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people. He talked about marauding gangs, young gangs, and the people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park five innocent Black kids, he continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty.
It's true, Arlene.
None of them were guilty of the crimes they were suggested. Look, and talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people, he commuted 20 people's sentences. We commuted over 1,000 people's sentences. Over 1,000. The very law he's talking about is a law that, in fact, initiated by Barack Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation here where the federal prison system was reduced by 38,000 people under our administration. And one of these things we should be doing, there should be no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going to jail because they have a drug problem. They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail.
Amen to that one.
Fundamentally
Yes,
change
sir.
the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you do it? You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago and you guys didn't.
Why haven't you done anything?
I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now.
You ran so you could line your pockets, you orange fruit.
All right, Vice President Biden, your response to that, and then I do have some questions for both of you.
Well, I tell you what, I hope he does look at me because what's happening here is you know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. The character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot. Look at us closely.
Let me ask some follow-up.
Excuse me.
Please respond, and then we're going to have follow-up.
What? Every time.
Ukraine, China, other countries.
Here we go.
If this is true, then he's a corrupt.
Oh, now he threw in Iraq.
Don't give me the stuff about how you're the.
Wait a minute, what? He just, or Iran. Oh, did he say Iran? I thought he said Iraq.
President
The
Trump, I
laptop
want to
from
stay
hell.
on the issue
Excuse
of
me.
race. We're
Take a
talking
look at
about
the
the issue.
laptop from hell.
Mute him.
We're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the
Why are
issue.
you looking at Biden?
President Trump,
And I
you've
have to
just
respond to that.
Please.
Because look,
No, I'm sorry. Biden doesn't need to respond.
who said that what he's accusing me of is a
She shouldn't have let Biden respond.
They have said.
I mean, I agree with what he's saying, but no. She needs to be a mod. She needs to be a mod.
Say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And
You
that's
gotta be-
exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This
was
is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President,
again with Russia.
we're going to continue on the issue of race. Mr. President,
believe
you've
that one.
described the Black Lives Matter movement as a symbol of hate. You've shared a video of a man chanting white power to millions of your supporters.
Yeah.
You've said that black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired.
Yeah.
What do you say to Americans who say that kind of language from a president is contributing to a climate of hate and racial strife?
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs,
I remix this. Here we go.
pigs in a blanket, fry them like
I got to remix this one.
and that was
Oh my God. Oh, I remixed this on my channel not too long
as
ago.
far as my relationships with all people. I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this world.
To Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric
I don't know.
and by
I mean, I
the
don't know
videos.
what to say.
You don't know what to say?
Reform done and prison reform and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It makes me sad.
Tweet, it's the pigs in the blanket for
I
me.
am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this.
What?
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me
What?
very quickly. And then
Did
I'll
he
follow
just
up.
make a...
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one.
Did he just say Abraham Lincoln? But did he just say that Trump couldn't see black people because it was dark? Is that what... Did y'all get that? I'm sorry. I'm lost it. I've lost it.
You're on stage here. He said, I told him to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to.
I am shook.
He made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did that-
Abraham
No,
Lincoln.
where did that? No.
You said-
I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm saying,
He just said he couldn't...
Not since Abraham Lincoln.
He couldn't see the people because...
What I've done for the black community. Now, you,
I'm done.
other than the crime bill, which put
oh, God.
tens of thousands of
I'm not believing he just said this.
in jail.
All right, let me,
And you know
let me,
what?
a- let me
They
ask
remember
Vice
it.
President
This
Biden-
is...
What's happening with the voting right now?
Let me ask
They
Vice
remember
President
that
Biden
you treated them
about-
very, very badly.
The-
Just
the-
take a look at what's happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s,
Y'all, I am shook.
all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the sense, and particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that, in fact, we should not send anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money on. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do. That's what I'm going to get done, because I think maybe the American people have now seen that, in fact, it was a mistake to pass those laws relating to drug. But they were not in the crime bill.
But why didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action.
Oh my God.
We released
didn't get
38,000.
anything
We got
done.
38,000 prisoners left from the.
You got nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison. There were over 1,000 people who were given clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police.
I'm still shook from that
I
audience.
could go on, but we began the process.
I'm just shook.
We began the process. We lost an election. That's why
I can. That's going to be a soundbite. That is going to be the soundbite of the night.
Response, and then we're
I
going to
just
move
asked
on
one
to climate
question.
change.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You put tens of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years.
Oh my God.
You know why, Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President
Because
Biden,
we had
and
a
then we're going to move on to the next section.
We had a Republican Congress. That's the answer.
Well,
Okay.
You got to talk them into it, Joe.
All
Sometimes
right.
you got to talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section,
Like I
which
did
is
with criminal
climate
justice
change.
reform.
Mute his mic.
Talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
did what we
we're running out of
already done.
time, so we got to get on to climate change, please. You both have very different visions on climate change. President Trump, you say that environmental
Oh Lord, have mercy.
energy sector
I only brought
is
one
really
White
vital.
Claw
You
in
have
here.
said you see
I should have
addressing
brought
climate
4.
change
I
as
knew
an
it.
opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time? Starting with you, President Trump, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Trillion Trees program.
My Lord.
The cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I know.
Emissions. What is he saying?
Joe, I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon
Oh
emission
my God.
numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration.
Exactly,
We
Shelby.
are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses.
Oh God.
Sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of
Nando asked me, Debbie, Chris Christie or Trump in the sack? If I had to lay with one of them,
until 2030.
I would lay with Chris Christie.
Low standard, and we.
I mean, I like a water bed.
It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Vice President
And we
Biden.
haven't destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change and climate warming, global warming, is an existential threat to humanity. We have a
Very true, impeccable.
to deal with it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to clean up.
But now, if Trump would resign and Pence would resign, I would take one for the team. I would lay with Trump for you girls. I would do it for you girls out there.
People worried about
I would
jobs.
do it, and I would do it good. Best he's ever had. I'd rock his world.
We'll create
Amen to that one.
new, good-paying jobs.
I'd keep a Bible
We'll
under my
invest
skirt,
in,
but
for
I'd do
example,
it for you girls.
50,000 charging stations on our highways so that we can own the electric car market of the future. In the meantime, China is doing that. We're going to be in a position where we're going
Oh, I like that, BLT. Video killed the radio star and internet killed the true journalism.
buildings and 2 million existing homes and retrofit them so they don't leak as much energy, saving hundreds of millions of barrels of oil in the process and creating significant number of jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs, and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's happening. And what right now, by the way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create $1 trillion more in economic growth than his proposal does. Not on climate, just on the economy.
President Trump, your
They came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan, that his plan is an economic disaster. If you look
Oh, Lord.
if you look at his plan,
Nothing
his
to do with
environmental
climate.
plan, you know who developed it? AOC +3. They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC +3. Look, their real plan costs $100 trillion. If we had the best year in the history of
Why didn't Trump just go to a marketing school and just be
not
quiet
even
and
come
retire?
close to a number like that.
Hopping
When
through
he says
hoops.
buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it can be good politically. They want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down
Shelby.
buildings with little, tiny, small windows. I mean, and many
What
other
is
things.
he talking about? It's insane. It's a stream of consciousness. It's insane.
The Vice President.
It's insane.
Where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
Queens.
$100 trillion. Give me a break. This plan was, plan is endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor, because they know the future lies. The future lies in us being able to breathe, and they know there are good jobs in getting us there. And by the way, the fastest growing industry in America is solar energy and wind. He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, $45, $50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump,
Excuse me.
please
We are
respond, and then I have some
We are
follow-ups.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight
What?
over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive.
Yeah, it comes out of your
It kills all the birds. It's very intermittent.
It
There's a lot
kills
of
all the
problems, and
birds.
They happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing.
Find me a scientist
Solar.
who said that.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So
False.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest.
I mean, if you take his logic, think of how many planes are out here flying. They should be, all the birds should be dead.
And what about
It's the same type of physics. I mean,
Let me allow Vice President
I
Biden to
have
respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is
Show
he's
the list.
flat lying.
Would you
Flat-
rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer, we need other industries to transition to.
I'm just,
ultimately a
Trump is just mush. His brain is mush.
over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money in doing it. But it's a transition to that.
I have one more question in this pod, and then
Excuse me.
we have.
He was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
Fracking on federal land, I said. No fracking
You
and
said
or
fracking.
oil
You
on
didn't say
federal
fracking.
Let
land.
me ask this
I
final
did.
question in this section, and then I want to move on to our final section. President Trump, people.
The Lincoln Project is killing them with these ads. How are they? They must have like
In Texas, there are families
like
that bury the
a group
plants
of like
in them.
40 people in a room turning out these videos. They've already got like another ad out for I'm the least racist person in the
4
room.
years in office.
Insane.
Families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, for Black, for Asian, it's 9 times greater, the percentage gain, than it was under, in 3 years, than it was under 8 years of the 2 of them, to put it nicely. 9 times more. Now, somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a
Artistics.
tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it, and I saved it again a number of months ago when oil was crashing because of the pandemic. We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back. We saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant again.
All
And
right.
everybody has very inexpensive gasoline. Remember
Vice
that.
President Biden, your response, and then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people live on what they call fence lines. He doesn't understand this. They live near chemical plants that, in fact, pollute, chemical plants and oil plants and refineries that pollute. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware. And the more oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car and when there was first frost to drive me to school, turn in the windshield wiper, there'd be oil slick in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how you keep them safe. What do you do? And you impose restrictions on the pollutions the pollutants.
Y'all, this photo from the Lincoln
Community.
Project. Trump is leaning all on the podium. It's
Close down
insane.
the oil industry?
falls-
Would you close
it
down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
You have to. It's not going to last forever.
I would stop
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal, but you
That's a
can't
big
do that.
statement.
Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy.
Sooner or later, it's going to have to. Amen.
And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the gas, excuse me, to
Electric.
solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry.
That's not what he said.
Remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I
Ohio.
have to get to the final question.
That's not what he said. Oompa loompa.
Context, but the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production, by 2050 totally.
All right. One
Is he gonna
final
get
question
China to
both
do
of
it?
you. No, we're finished with
Is
this.
he
We
going
have
to
to
get
move on
China
to
to
our
do it?
final question. We
No,
have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our final
rejoin Paris
question.
Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right.
That'll
This
cost you
is
$1
about
trillion.
leadership, gentlemen. And this first
The mute was a lie. Again, I'll say it again.
Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans
This is a
who
good
did not
one.
vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you, Mr.
We have to make our country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're doing record numbers, 11.4.
Thank you so much, Tremaine. Thank you for navigating this train wreck, Debra.
Before the plague came in, just before
Thank you so much, Tremaine, honey.
people that
Mwah.
were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history.
Oh my God, I didn't know what he was about to say.
Women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, #1 in the class. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success. But I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell, and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
All right. Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me.
Oh, hello,
I'm
honey.
going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because we have enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. And at the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what
Gemma Peely, honey, thank you so much for that super chat. And hello, honey.
honor, respect, treating people with
One of my
dignity,
alt
making
space
sure that everyone
friends,
has an equal
y'all.
chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right, I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Wow. Y'all. Oh, she's got her mask. Oh, she looks good. She always looks good now. I'll never. Oh, thank you so much, Wolf-Hearted, honey. Oh, wait a minute, Jill. Hold on. I like this now. I like this. This is cute. Because that last outfit Jill had, now, y'all know I said it was a train wreck. But I like this one. It's pretty good. But Melania always looks good. Melania always dresses pretty good. I mean, Melania, if we're going by dresses, Melania wins. But I do think Jill did a good job with this one. It's cute. I like it. Because that last thing she wore, oh my God, I was so upset with her. I was like, what is that? Well, at least everybody, oh, look, there's Tiffany. Look at her. Ugh. She just had that, I'm surprised they let her in there. She just had that big birthday bash this week. Well, they all got the masks on this time. Look at you got a mask on, don't you, Ivanka, honey? Got the mask on this time, honey. Who's got the mask now? Lord have mercy. Well, what can we say? What can we say? I feel like this debate did go a lot better than the first one. But I don't understand the point in the mute. I really don't understand the point of the mute. She's very professional, though. But, you know, the mute wasn't her decision. Because
it's time to hear from you and get your...
She said in the very beginning, she was talking about, you know, she didn't have control. The people in, like, the control room are the ones that had the control of the actual mute button. So, you know, I don't know if they did it for ratings. I mean, it's not like, you know, they're feeding it to all the networks. The ones, you know, feed. I don't know the reason they didn't mute like they said they were going to mute it. I mean, all I can say is ratings, you know, I don't know. I think it was ridiculous. I think they should have muted. I mean, you know, everybody's agreeing on, you know, their set of rules, and then you don't go by them. Trump, I didn't get any policy out of Trump. I felt like Joe Biden came off very sane, and, you know, I mean, all Trump does is attack, y'all. I don't know how anybody could look at that and say, oh, yeah, I'm definitely voting with Trump. He won me over. I mean, I just don't. You're either with Trump or you're not at this point. I really don't think. I just don't see it going any other way. Well, I really enjoyed this. Thanks so much for everybody that came out tonight. I think we averaged around 60 people tonight, so it was really nice to have a lot of you here. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed hanging out with all of you girls. Let's see what we got in here. I'm trying to catch up with the chat before I go, see if there's any questions. Thank you, Debra. I've said that. Thank you so much, Wolf-Hearted, for the Debra 2020. Thank you so much for that super chat, honey. I don't know if I read that out beforehand, but I just wanted to make sure I did. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think you can fault the moderator. I think she should have, you know, told Trump, hey, look, cut it up, honey. And I think that last time when Biden started speaking, no, she should have said, I'm sorry, Biden, we're moving on. We're moving on. You know, she's in charge. But anyways, thanks so much, everybody that liked the video. And I really enjoyed doing this with you girls. And I'm kind of relieved that we won't be doing this again in some ways. But I'm kind of sad we won't be doing this in some ways. Because I really do enjoy. I've enjoyed. This has been a fun thing to do with you girls. These last debates we've done. I guess 3 of them so far, right? But anyways, I'll see you girls tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our regular show. And I'll see you then, okay? Y'all have a wonderful night. And remember to wear your mask and to get saved, okay? Bye, y'all.